Primero que cambio en el carro.
Welcome back to another video in our Chasing 1,000 Horsepower series in my F80 M3. Motor and also the car with some additional mods to be able to location for today's video. It is not a step-by-step DIY in Miami, Florida. So let's run through some of the things that they did, and then we'll
Ah, pues habla.
Online shopping. It's one of the greatest gifts humanity has ever given its people. After searching for a while, I found this website, This Crashed BMW. I thought it was a great buy. I wanted to fix it up myself. I know I can. However, there's a small caveat. I've never fixed a vehicle. I have zero training, zero experience. What could go wrong? Also, I don't have a shop, very little tools, and a very, very small budget. So part of the process is just drilling out rivet holes throughout whatever parts you want to replace. There's 1/4-inch rivets that are going in, so you have to drill just a 16th below 5 30-seconds, I believe, 3 30-seconds. I went through probably 12, 15 drill bits throughout this process. It's about 100 holes you have to drill through. '61, '62, '63, '64. Bunch of holes. Just drilling. It's separating, drilling holes, and then separating and then torching the adhesive to get the structural parts removed. Slowly, these parts start to come loose. There's a bit of torching, a bunch of finagling. All of this, I just saw guys on YouTube do it and thought, why not? I can do this. After removing all of the structural parts, it's now time to pull the frame rail that's bent. As you can see, as you can tell, I purchased this precision piece of lumber designed especially to pull frame rails for crashed vehicles. I repeat, it's not a 4x6 from Home Depot. This is a precision instrument I saw online. Now it's time to actually put the structural parts together. So BMW wants you to use their proprietary adhesive, which no one has in stock and costs like $300-400 a pop. I bought this 3M structural bond adhesive. It's not BMW approved, but you know what? I seriously doubt they'll have an issue with me using the adhesive in my driveway for me to fix up my vehicle. I hope they approve. If not, BMW, I'm sorry. I'm doing what I can. What you do is to glue these parts together. You need to pre-drill them. So you test them, drill them, clamp them, and just make sure they align together. It'd be nice to get a jig somehow or a rig to attach to these. I seem to be short a BMW alignment rig. So there's a lot of trial and error and fitments of parts and make sure everything fits together and hope for the best. I purchased this rivet gun through Harbor Freight. It's got very decent pull power. Not sure, but there's an electric one from Milwaukee. I purchased that one and returned it because it just doesn't have enough pulling power. I believe it's a Chief brand from Harbor Freight. Oh, by the way, this is the first time I've installed rivets as well. It's a little bit of a learning curve. You over pull, it doesn't tighten as well, and it snaps the rivets. So you should practice before installing a frame rail. So I started just applying the adhesive and then brushing it on the structural part on the vehicle and the new structural part I was installing. It dries purple, so you know when it's dry it goes on silver. Again, there's a lot of fitting and hammering and making sure everything fits correctly. I fitted these before, aligned them as best I could, and then drilled them in place. Took them down and then put them back up, and they kind of do fit pretty well. This project took a very long time. I'm into like day 100 100 plus. Not constant days, but just off and on. Whenever I have time, I'll work on it after work or on weekends, whenever I could. Installing the frame rail, kind of everything really bolts up, lines up, which I guess means my upper shock towers and frame rail guide are correct. So everything goes together, bolts together, everything fits pretty good. Everything lines up. The right tower, I didn't rivet on. I wanted to make sure everything was lined up as best as possible. As you can see, when it dries purple, ready to go. I installed seam sealer. First time I've ever installed seam sealer. It's nightmare. If you guys ever done it, I know you know what I'm talking about. Just to make it look right, not gonna happen. So I'm basically into like first year of building this thing. Now it's time to install the engine. Again, I've never installed an engine. I've never done any. I decided to take the frame rail out to fit the engine. Then what I was going to do is raise the engine and then install the frame rail. Based on what tools I have, this is the best option for me. I don't have a vehicle lift. I have a engine hoist, cherry picker, aka I don't know what it's called. Again, I bought it through Harbor Freight. Listen, if I can do this, you guys can do it as well. Just got to be a little bit creative, you know, and be smart. If not, the Google. Ask Google. ChatGPT. Ask your buddy. Ask someone. Just do it. Here I'm aligning the drive shaft to the coupler. I know there's a specific name for this piece. Think of it. Anyway, without vehicle lift, this is my best option. Is just putting it down there, raising it with the jack, and putting it, tightening it up. There's a specific torque setting you need to do. I believe it was 65 newton meters. I have to verify. Again, thanks for watching. You guys rock. Let me know what you think. So I decided to purchase a crashed BMW. 2017 330i. 2,700. I'd be insane to pass it up. Look at this. Look at me. Look at this. Look at me. Look at this. Look at me. Seriously, how hard can this be? Let's do it. I pulled the engine, structural repairs, changed frame rails. This is what's next. AC hoses. Every single hose on this vehicle was damaged, bent, or missing. To replace one of these hoses with all of the parts installed is quite the challenge. With missing manifold, missing brackets, missing everything, it's pretty easy. The engine valve cover was cracked. Now bear in mind that most I've ever done on an engine is change the oil. I've never been this involved taking apart an engine. Well, besides taking one out and putting back in. It's a big learning curve, and it's probably one of the reasons I purchased this vehicle. I just wanted to learn how to do basically everything. These are the solenoid Vanos covers, timing chains. I don't know, it's a sensor. So from my research is BMWs leak oil. Believe it or not. So I replaced the gasket on the valve cover. So here I'm installing those solenoid valve covers. If you know what they are, let me know. They do something. There's control the Vanos, but then there's a Vanos sensor in front. Maybe it is a Vanos solenoid that sensors in front. I don't know. So putting the bolts back on the valve cover, you have to be very careful. Everything's torqued. However, it's an aluminum block and they love to strip. So you just have to be very careful and not over torque. Do not over torque. Here's the high pressure fuel pump. You have to be very careful installing it, make sure everything's clean. Again, torque it. Don't over torque it. It's an aluminum block. Do not over torque. These are the original ignition coils, which will come to bite me in the ass a little bit later. The intake and manifold and intercooler is all in one on this B48 engine. It was cracked as well, so I bought one off of eBay. Just routing the wires and cables and hoses and fuel lines and hoses and coolant hoses. It will take some time. All of the steering linkage, suspension, control arms were cracked or missing. The big orange bar is an FE sway bar, which I upgraded as well. I couldn't find a torque setting for the control arm, so just as tight as you can. Since I had no suspension and the struts were bent, I upgraded to Bilstein. I think these are superior just because it's Bilstein. So I had to cool the engine somehow, and since I was missing the whole front end and radiator and condenser, I bought a used one since new ones are insanely expensive. I bought this from a junkyard, about $400. I believe it's from an older F30 from a 2014, 2015, but everything's basically the same. This is a post LCI life cycle impulse. So some things change, but most of the internals are the same. This car went on production from 2012 to 2018, so 6 years. There's a bunch of used parts out there. To fill the coolant is a whole process. It has to be done through negative pressure and a vacuum, and then run the hot air inside the vehicle. It's this whole process. It's pretty involved, but this is a little of what you have to do. I bought this gadget from Amazon. It's a negative vacuum fill. Anyway, you connect your compressor to it, and the compressor does the rest for you. Once you have negative pressure, you connect your coolant. There you go. I decided to check to see if it was filled up with vacuum still in, and as you can see, it's filled and blowing coolant everywhere. I changed the oil before I started the engine the first time. Since it's crashed and I had replaced a bunch of parts, I might as well, you know? After putting everything back together myself, remember, I am not a mechanic. This is the first time to try and start the engine. The engine's running really rough. This is where I realize something's wrong. Something is very, very wrong. It's jump in timing? Did I screw up the valve cover? Did something fall in the engine when I took the valve cover off? What happened? By this time, I bought a new camera so I could actually record this whole tragedy. So I need to troubleshoot this engine. So I changed the oil again, installed some engine flush, and just changed it. This is 020 liquid moly, which is what BMW recommends. I thought maybe something had fallen in the engine. Remember, I changed the valve covers, the intake, and spilled some oil. Anyway, I need to troubleshoot this engine. It's running really rough. Since I took it out, we'll see what happens. I took all of the injectors out, cleaned the injectors, cleaned everything I could. I would change the spark plugs, clean the fuel rail. Maybe there was some debris. This engine has less than 50,000 miles on it, and not looking good. I went and got myself a diagnostic computer. This thing is knocking. I'm worried. I'm worried I blew this engine, the valve, the heads. I'm just really worried at this point. It's knocking with a 50,000 mile engine. I'm really worried. All of the modules are lighting up. I start to clear them. I start to troubleshoot them. This goes on for days and days and days. Troubleshooting going on online forums. I am super frustrated at this point. The engine is knocking. Did I do this? Was it like this? Did the crash impact the engine? Is it not working? Are the cylinder heads not working? Are the valves not working? I start to troubleshoot this and I decide to change the oil again. I'm checking for metal shavings to see if the cylinders are scratching against the walls. The oil looks very clean. There's zero metal in it. I was scared to even run the engine because it was knocking. If it was one of the cylinders hitting up against the wall, I would screw it up even more, but I had to figure it out. So the diagnostic on the computer was the DME said it was misfiring cylinder 1 and cylinder 4. I replaced the fuel rail. I cleaned the high pressure pump, all of the fuel lines. It was misfiring cylinder 1 and cylinder 4. It was knocking. So I troubleshooted as much as I could. I even changed the fuel injectors. Again, I'm not a mechanic. All of this is new to me. I'm doing most of this for the very first time. I'm just cleaning everything and hoping for the best. For the next hours, days, and weeks, I would troubleshoot this. Change the part here or there, clean everything, take a hose, clean it off. Change anything I could and clean it. The diagnostic was absolutely the same. I started thinking maybe it was electronics. I changed out the coil packs. I changed out everything concerning the ignition, fuel, and this engine. I would clean all of the electrical connectors with electrical cleaning solution and would start the engine again, and it wouldn't work. Again, misfire. I took the misfire from cylinder 1 and 4. Now it was just misfiring cylinder 4. I would put cameras down there. Everything seemed to be working fine. I even started doing positive thinking. It's probably me. I'm being too negative on this. It's probably not even the engine. It's just me. But knocking and knocking and knocking. After hours, days, and weeks of troubleshooting the engine, it would still knock. I refused to call in a mechanic. I'm fixing this vehicle up by myself. I refused to call a mechanic. So what I did was started checking the electrical components. I opened up the DME next, and to my surprise, the DME had a crack in water had somehow gotten into it. I quickly purchased a DME from eBay. However, you have to program these. And I went online, found a guy locally who could do everything remotely. However, the DME I had to take to him. Unfortunately, I did not record this. But what you do is you buy your DME and take it to him. He'll program it, clones the old one, brings everything to the new one. And guess what? No more knocking. It was the DME. Once I replaced the DME, there was another failure with the FEM, front electrical module, which controlled the front part of the electronics of the car. So I replaced that. If you replace that, you have to replace the starter button and the key fob. And all of this actually worked. It wasn't me. It wasn't my faulty mechanics. I actually know what I'm doing without knowing what I'm doing. It worked. The engine stopped knocking. Cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4 were working. Now, I need to finish this. This set me back a couple months. And this is why this video has taken so long. This is why this project has taken so long. BMW. The Insurance Auto Auction website. This is a website where some people's nightmares become other people's dreams. I, on the other hand, found this. A 2017 BMW 330i. Every day, thousands and thousands of vehicles get sold on online auction websites just like this one. After searching for weeks, days, hours, minutes on this website or Facebook Marketplace, I found this. I was in the mood for a challenge, for a project car, and I was feeling very adventurous and found this. I have time, I have energy, I have a very limited budget. Well, let's buy one. I took the task of fixing this up myself. Since I had to take out the engine, and it was the first time I've ever taken out an engine. So with doing anything for the first time, everything comes with a learning curve. When I removed the engine, removed the valve covers, I over torqued the bolts and stripped the threads on this engine. This is such a common issue among idiots and mechanics and people in general. that someone came up with an idea to sell, fabricate, and distribute a simple but effective solution for this. The process for rethreading an engine bolt is pretty straightforward. Drill a hole, rethread, clean, rethread, install a rethread kit, and then, and only then, you torque down your bolts correctly to the manufacturer specs. So after going through this whole process, just make sure to correctly torque it to manufacturer specs, which I forgot what they are. Please let me know. I guess one of the tricky parts on this process is when you drill out the holes with your drill bit. You need to be very careful of not over drilling or going deeper than the original thread. One solution I found was to put a piece of electrical tape on your drill bit on the end of it, and it'll let you know how deep to go. You need to be very careful and have a little bit of experience on this. So after spending $40 on Valvoline Zerex engine coolant and having one of your radiator hoses blow out on you, a main common issue for this is the hoses being worn. However, I didn't have any hoses, so I bought them used at a junkyard. Lesson learned, don't buy used hoses at junkyard. This exact scenario just happened to me. So I had to go ahead and refill the engine coolant again, another $40. It's like literally watching your money down the drain, but this drain is a concrete floor. And this concrete floor just happens to be underneath your engine. And there's not much you can do about it. You're watching money just evaporate into your concrete like blue money. So with that said, is the process to refill your coolant on a BMW is to fill with negative pressure your entire cooling system. You do this with a contraption that uses your compressor hose. Hook it up to this and it creates a negative pressure with the compressor hose, I think. Now it's time to pretend I know what I'm doing. To install the front right and front left fenders, the fenders go on these brackets that I had to remove to install the structural parts. So most of these brackets had been taken down and stored. Some of these brackets I had double or triple from the junkyard and structural parts I had purchased. So it took me a while to figure these out and what goes where. They are online diagrams that I downloaded, but of course I decided not to look at them and do everything myself. I bought some M3 style fenders for this 330. Why? Because why not? They look cool. They look better than the original fenders. They're cheap. I bought them online somewhere. I don't remember. If I find the link, I'll put it down below. If not, I don't remember. If you want to buy some, just go on eBay. Maybe I bought them on eBay. M3 style fenders. Pretty cool. So, piece of tip is when you're working on a crashed vehicle, most of the brackets will be bent, missing, or just non-existent. For future reference, I will definitely be using a diagram and see what goes where. It will save you a lot of time. Up to this point, I had been installing mostly structural parts, electrical parts, taking the tires off and on multiple times, shocks, towers, struts, and an engine. I was really excited on installing the brackets and the fenders. So to install the hood and the fenders, I was very much looking forward to it, to actually have the vehicle feel a little bit more completed. This was just a big point in the project for me. After playing around with the brackets for a good 20 minutes, my camera decided enough was enough. For all my fellow people out there who've installed fenders and bumpers and trying to get them aligned with the panel gaps aligned correctly, you know exactly what I'm going to start going through. It's quite a process of going back and forth with the brackets and fenders and shims. Shims on vehicles are washers that you can buy anywhere, but we call them shims, so it sounds a little bit more professional. Just make sure all of your gaps are correct and look nice. This is something new. It's time consuming, but just take your time. Make sure it looks right and you feel right, you know? Make sure you feel right when you're doing this. Make sure your panel gaps are correct. I had to take out the shock support multiple times. This is one of the many times I put it back in. Professional tip is when you're installing a hood by yourself, make sure it's clean on the inside and on the out. This way you can grip it on both sides. This is the only correct way to install a hood by yourself. By yourself, remember. Most of my friends and family were busy for the time I was working on my car. I would call multiple people and multiple friends and family, and they were all busy or their phones had gotten shut off for that particular hour. Installing hoods on crashed vehicles is a lost art form that should be taught in schools, universities, parks, and schools across the country. Aligning the hood is super easy, said no one ever. Again, I was feeling very peppy and decided to buy a sport bumper. This is an M2 style bumper on an F30 330i. Why, you say? Because the original bumper on a BMW 330i normal one is boring. This was probably cheaper than the original bumper. I bought this on Craigslist through a guy I met in a parking lot in LA. I won't say which parking lot, but let's say there was plenty of lighting. And the way this works is you give him cash, he gives you the bumper, you look at it, looks fine, take it home. Honestly, this is a pretty cool bumper. The M2 is one of my favorite cars. That bumper is pretty cool. So I decided to install one on my vehicle. Again, I repeat, this is an F30 330i BMW with an M2 style bumper I bought in LA in a parking lot. A pleasant surprise on working with this BMW was the amount of people I met throughout the city, online, forums, gas stations, parking lots, just talking to people and learning where to buy parts, used parts, new parts. There's a great car culture community here in California, and most everyone is really helpful. I absolutely love this bumper, the way it looks. I know it's not for this vehicle, but I like it a lot better than the M3 style bumper, and leagues, miles, galaxies way better than the original bumper this F30 came with. I just really like this bumper. In the span of 46 years, I've been driving for probably 30 of those years. I've changed the oil once or twice myself on my vehicles throughout the years. I've always had it professionally done by someone else. This has been an absolutely great experience, and it really changed my view on looking and working on cars. I've fallen in love with car culture again. When I was a little kid, I had pictures of Ferraris and Lamborghinis on my walls. For some reason, I took those posters down and never put them back up. This car has really opened my love and passion for cars and fast cars again. I'm hooked. I absolutely love working on cars now. I think I created a big problem for myself because now I want to keep working on more cars. These side skirts were the only thing that weren't damaged on the vehicle and decided to replace them anyway. The stock ones look pretty tame, so I purchased these M-style side skirts from eBay. They look just a little bit more aggressive than the stock ones, have this nice protruding line in the middle, and I think it really completes the look on the front of the vehicle. I will be replacing the back bumper soon. I will be replacing the back bumper as well whenever I get a chance, but for now it's staying. I just want to really complete this build and have fun with it for a while before I go crazy with anything else. So I looked for days and days all over the place for headlights. These headlights are expensive. They're about $1,500 used and about $3,000 from the BMW dealership each. I looked everywhere for them. I finally found some on eBay. These cost around $1,400 for the pair. I was a bit skeptical about the quality, but decided to buy them anyway. These are absolutely 100% original. I tested the plastics. I tested absolutely everything on them, and these are original. I just happened to find a great deal on these. Too much money. Downside is they come with no modules, so you have to replace all of them yourself. See, this is plastic. This is plastic as well. The same exact plastic. I was just skeptical because I thought they were too cheap. And usually too cheap means too good to be true, but I lucked out. So I had to replace all of the modules one by one. It takes a little bit of time and you have to be a little bit careful. One by one. I had to buy new modules because I only had half of one headlight, which means I had about 40% of the modules I needed, probably a good 35% of the modules I needed. And the rest, again, I had to buy aftermarket. New modules, new electronics, new headlights, new LEDs from the dealership are super expensive. Out of the 7 or 8 modules I purchased, all of them worked out of the box except for one. It had to be reprogrammed. Same guy who programmed my DME and FEM. It's a great guy. I'll leave his contact in the link below if anyone needs a BMW remote programmer. This guy's awesome. You know what? I don't want to give out his info. If anyone needs his info, please ask and I'll DM you. And I'm very proud and super happy to say these headlights work amazing. And by the way, thank you everyone for the such wonderful comments you guys leave. They really motivate me because sometimes this project has gotten overwhelming. And although it seems like I know what I'm doing, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm learning every step of the way. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys. After buying new struts and replacing shock towers, control arms, knuckles, steering column, sway bar, struts, shocks. The springs on these guys were pretty much shot. I used the old springs from the old BMW, but they were a bit bent and the car was sitting a bit lopsided. I purchased a 1.5-inch lowering kit. The brand, I think, was FE. I don't remember, but they were red. The springs are red and they look super cool to me. To someone else, they might look just red, but to me, they look pretty cool. So this is me taking about an hour after I installed them the first time, taking them down, installing them again. So just the best way you can support me is just watching this and leave a comment, leave a like. Even if it's a nasty comment, it's still a comment. I really appreciate everyone watching this and leaving comments. Again, this has been a good part of the year and just a great experience for me. Thank you. Pro tip is do not buy the cheap spring compressors. They absolutely suck. Spend a little bit more money and purchase these nicer ones. A lot of items I would purchase just because of budget issues. I had to learn and spend the money twice on some tools and items, but again, it's a learning curve. I've never done this before. The other type of spring compressor, it's a two-part system where one goes on the left side of the spring, one goes on the right side of the spring. You compress one side, then the other. It's kind of dangerous. It just really sucks and just a pain in the ass. So spend a little money, buy this one. So when I took the front part out, these little ball bearings fell off. Just look at the difference. It says 1.5 inch. But they seem like they're 3 inches. But once they're compressed, these are a lot stiffer. This has been an awesome learning curve, working on vehicles and working on the vehicles, working on camera shots, buying a camera, buying a microphone, learning how to edit. This is something I've enjoyed so much. I want to keep doing it, and any support from you guys would be greatly appreciated. Leave a comment, like, anything, thumbs up. So I had all of the parts painted professionally by me in a garage. I didn't record this because I was just tired and I was in a rush to finish this build and start driving soon. I apologize. Bumpers, side skirts, professionally painted by me in a garage. But I didn't record it. You're just gonna have to take my word for it that I painted them myself. I worked on this vehicle by myself and did absolutely everything except the programming. I tried to program it myself. There's an iStat BMW program that I decided not to learn because it was just way too time consuming, and the guy that did it didn't charge me that much. But everything else I did on this vehicle myself, by myself, just going online, researching and figuring stuff out by myself. after everything I did on this vehicle to install this bumper and the way it looks, it's been one of the happiest moments of this whole build and so satisfying. I know it's been worth it. There's something about working on a car yourself, knowing it's yours, you know. This build and this whole process, learning, not learning, throwing stuff away, this has just taught me so much, and I want to keep doing this. I want to keep building cars bigger, better, getting more tools, more experience, talking to you guys, going to car shows, car meets. I want to keep in the car community, and I will do everything in my power to keep building cars. This was so fun, even though it doesn't seem like it, but I learned so much and had such an amazing time. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. And satisfaction.